to all. Fernando, Merry Christmas week. How you doing out there, brother? Is Fernando not onboarded yet onto the call? Okay.
Hey.
Well, Merry. Hey, what's cooking, man?
I am rocking and rolling. Sorry to interrupt. Just wasn't sure if that was your voice, but obviously it's you, so please take it away.
Yeah, no, I'm saying Merry Christmas week. And how are you doing? And what is top of heart and top of mind for you, Fernando?
Top of mind and top of heart. Top of mind is our movements and the speed of which it's grown. And, really anchoring on speed. I believe speed of things equals unintentional dilution, distortion, unintended, well-intended, very integrous dilution, distortion. And in my heart is what that causes for people. In my head is like the mathematics of that speed and dilution, distortion. And my heart is what that causes for people. And, now I'm thinking about having, some rice pudding on Christmas as I stay in my heart. But that's where I'm at the moment.
What kind of pudding are you having on Christmas?
Oh, dude, my dad. Okay, so quick story. So when Fernando was in high school, he had a phase that he took culinary for 3 years. And I mean, I loved it. It was zero period. I would be in high school at 6:30 in the morning. I built a relationship with my principal because I would beat him to the high school. And I would do that because I would never do any homework. I wouldn't study at home because I worked all the time. So I would do all my homework in zero period, which was culinary. And I loved it. Mr. Roma, she would always supportive. She would feed me breakfast. She would let me sit there and I would do all these things. And I really got a love for cooking. And there was like a moment where I considered going to culinary school. And I thought that was going to be my future. And I had a lot of love for it. And my dad did not approve. And there was this moment in Staples where there was this blowout and my dreams of culinary washed down the drain. And that didn't happen, all to come back yesterday to find out that my dad is spending time on Facebook finding recipes. And he just did this new recipe for tres leches and rice pudding. He did the tres leches yesterday. He's going to do the rice pudding on Thursday. And my dad is the illest chef. And I would never say this in front of my parents, but I actually think my dad's a better cook than my mom, even though he doesn't cook that often. So I'm really looking forward to this new recipe because if it's half as good as the tres leches we got yesterday, that has become a very high point in my excitement for Christmas.
Extraordinary. Well, I'm very happy for Tres Leches. That is amazing. Super fun. And congratulations on that, brother.
Well, thank you. Back to you.
Yeah. So fun culinary moment. I am a junior at Columbia University. It is late November, approaching Thanksgiving, and it is a cold and blustery day on the amazing fields of Adelphi University. And it is the New York State Flag Football Championships. And our team, which is my fraternity, which is an extraordinary, incredible group of people, are ready to rock and roll and to go at the highest levels of insanity because most of the guys that I played with at Columbia were, in fact, high school football players that were recruits to play in college. And our quarterback from our touch football team, his name is Rocky Gosella. And Rocky had been a recruit at Penn State to be a quarterback, was an all-state quarterback in New York. And he's a quarterback on our flag football team. It was the most ridiculously skilled flag football team because everybody could have been essentially a college football player on our team. So we are excited, we are ready, we are prepared, and we are going to Adelphi to win the New York State Flag Football Championships. Our first game, Fernando and all, was against unbelievably, the Culinary Institute of New York. And their perspective was slightly different on what it meant to be at Adelphi that day. And I think they were there substantially to have some fun and to enjoy being together, right? So the very first play of the game we run is a sweep to one side. They run a sweep to our side, and or my side, our side, me and this guy, Greg Carney. And so Greg comes around the end, and I come around the end, and we take on the blockers, and we essentially eviscerate them, tackle a guy, basically, not thinking we're doing anything inappropriate. It's just like football, and we're playing, we're ready, right? And these guys, the ref, everybody is decleated, flying all over the place. The referees come running over, screaming, yelling for penalty flags. The guys in the Culinary Institute are like screaming, like yelling. And that is how, whenever I think of the word culinary, I think of that moment, play one, day one at Adelphi University, that began this journey throughout the day, which would later in the day lead to my separated shoulder as I crashed into the very same Greg Carney. By the way, it was about 2:30. And we won the state championship that day, but it was a brutal, crazy, and unbelievable day. That play one, game one, led with those poor, beautiful, wonderful souls from the Culinary Institute who definitely wished they did not play us in game one, Fernando. So any thoughts on that?
Well, that is certainly funny and just hilarious to hear. I think my favorite part of the whole story was the decleating. Like that one fact just shows who you are on that sports field, and that's the one that made me chuckle the loudest.
Yeah, so it was fun. But we met some other people like us, and we played a team from New York that, oh my God, it was one of those vicious, unbelievable battles ever from New York Tech. And they were tremendous athletes, and they were ready as well. So it was a very fun day. Okay.
I just want to read this comment in the chat because it was funny. Edward goes, eviscerating is not normally associated with flag football, unless Sean Callaghan's playing. The eviscerating is so part of flag football. That was funny.
Yeah. So Jiraki Gosella, Greg Carney, Doug Murphy, Jimmy Capola, and Cruz. It was quite Chris Zander and all. It was quite the team, quite the day. Okay, so completing or stepping into this, how is it all, Fernando, that one could own Necker Island and be running a trip to the one and only Necker Island, have 30 seats for people to be on Richard Branson's island, and be coming to like the last day and still have an empty seat? How is that possible? And having at least 4 or 5 of the people say that they made the decision to come and were called in the last week. Fernando, how could that ever possibly happen for somebody who's a multi-billionaire, who has this incredible island, an unbelievable place, COVID or not? Why do you think that would ever be?
I'm sure that is a longer answer than I am pondering in my mind, but I'm going to go with there's a lack of process influence. I'll stop there. A lack of influence and process mastery on the HUI of what's possible and present on what you just shared.
Sure. Yeah. How about in process mastery? There's no ecosystem merger. The ecosystem merger is not operating 9.999. The speaking engagements to create and promote are not operating 9.999. The sales meetings and the sales are not operating 9.999 and 9.999. My point, right, is no matter how successful you are, how incredible you are, how wonderful you are, how amazing you are, how beautiful the space is, how mind-numbing the possibilities and the opportunities, the formula still applies. The formula still applies. Thoughts, Fernando, on that?
Yeah, it is like gravity. And you just said it, thank you. It's the 7 levers were not in play, and that equals suboptimal results for something that could be so beneficial to the world, which is crazy. And it displays the importance of rising in your mastery in those 3 areas.
Yeah. And so what it also says to me, ready? Drum roll. Fernando, can you do the drum roll? I need a better drum roll, Fernando.
Damn it. That's all I got, dude. All right, ready?
All right, Adam, are you ready? AG, are you ready?
I'm ready, and I have a drum roll right after yours, what it also says to me. So go ahead.
All right, well, tell me what it says to you, because I'm about to drop in with a lightning bolt of fun.
Okay, so my drum roll, first I was chomping at the bit to say process mastery when you asked that question. And my drum roll is, it is as equally as tragic as having a real row open and not filling all of your seats.
Oh, the pain.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic. And you ready for this? Are you ready?
Suspense.
You have you're worth $4 billion. You own an island in the Caribbean. You own an island that is the most mind-numbing and exclusive destination possible. You have websites. You have unlimited marketing budget for Facebook funnels and every other thing in the world. If you think, in light of that reality, and that place is not continuously sold out, if you think the difference that will make the difference is your picture on your LinkedIn page or your quote or your website, and you think that's what's going to fill up your business and help you become automated, you are drunk, delusional, and crazy on this Monday morning, and I love you anyway. Adam, what say you about that statement?
What says me is that Richard Branson has how many millions of followers? What says me is Richard Branson's website is how unbelievably beautiful, and I haven't even seen it, but I already know what he puts out there. What it says to me is that, there's probably very few people as recognizable in the world as an owner and an entrepreneur as him, and the island was not filled.
Yeah. And ready? Drum roll, please. That's horrible.
Mine was so much better than that. Go ahead.
You are. Absolutely. The woman that ran the trip is simply an ecosystem partner of Richard Branson. So she's a leader in EO. So he is using ecosystem merging to fill his island. And it was great. She does a great job. It wasn't perfect, but it was great. So Richard Branson is using ecosystem merging to fill the island because other people were there with other groups at other times. So he does not use Facebook funnels. He does not use the power of his website. He uses humans to invite their friends and other people to run events on his island. Ecosystem merging. If they optimize speaking a bit more, like, I don't know, maybe running the Necker Island Real Raw, or the Mary, or Susie, or Johnny, or Joey, right, would cause a much more dramatic acceleration and a yes for people. Because what happens is instead, it's a bunch of like loose, disconnected phone calls. Nobody's quite sure what, what is it? Who's going? Like all these things. There's not the same container. And it's awesome and it's great, but it can easily be optimized. And the super fun part is that you'll be seeing this video shortly when we edit it together, that Brittany, owner of Buck Island, her own island, she was on the other night. I can now explain to you what this Buck Island incredible place looks like, and you will see it. And the ecosystem merging, not only possibility, but desire, presence, outcome that this person wants to co-create in that space. And I'm not even joking. My number one concern is the island only holds 26 people. It's how to create around that dynamic and create the right groupings so that there's, not hyper scarcity, division, and things created around it as we progress and move forward. And how we recreate more and more of these things and cause leadership everywhere. Because we've already been asked to come back and speak in mid-January at her next event. And yes, Unblinded, documented in video from Brittany's mouth. We are the first speakers and forever will be on Buck Island, as it has opened, in Brittany's words, to be a space of leaders leading leaders to make the world a greater place. And that happened, and thank you. Because everybody here, Adam and Fernando, thank you. And everybody on this call, thank you. for co-creating that outcome. And everybody contributed different levels to the outcome, but that was a co-created outcome that has happened. And if anybody is ever confused, just please don't be. That the formula is causing the yeses and no in your world. The formula for the great things you have, the amazing things, and for the things you don't yet have, the scale or the money or whatever it is, the formula tells you the answer. And I said this on our team call this morning. If every single human that I speak to one-on-one wants to come on The Real Raw, and if not every single person you speak to one-on-one wants to come on your Real Raw Open, then it is singularly a differential in your influence mastery and or your self-mastery and or your process mastery, or some combination of all three, which are easily solvable and acceleratable over time. You will see the unfolding of all these amazing people in January as they pour onto The Real Raw. These, incredible group of people. Footnote, our thoughts and prayers to some of them, because some of these incredible people I've had the privilege to connect with and meet are in quarantine and will not be with their family and loved ones for the holidays. And that was something that was very present. Days there, somebody in the island did test positive on Necker for COVID, and that set off a stream of things because they are dealing with it very differently. Investigators from the government came to the island and, interviewed, if not interrogated, the person, and went through all primary and secondary contacts. And if you had sat next to that person at a meal, you were in quarantine. And those people are. And, it was a very almost randomized process. I hugged that person. I easily could have been one of those people. So, and it was like, lockdowns in different places and different things. And it created a high degree of drama. Incredible blessings to make it to Buck Island with the crew that made it. And we were, the first speakers. We are the first speakers. And it was awesome. So, just ecosystem merging, power, stage, and microphone. And as we're going to have Brittany on for What is Unblinded, Why Real Raw. We'll have her on. I want to wait till the new year to do that. And it's just going to be extraordinary hearing her story of how she was able to buy an island that cost $60 million and not have the money to do it, and how all that was created, and Helodious influence, power, stages, and microphones, the leadership she's caused in meetings with people like Richard Branson, Larry Page, etc. But it's all the same stuff. It's just another example. It's not an inspirational story. It's simply an example of the formula. It might be inspiring. It is. She's incredible. And it's just another beautiful case study in how mastery of the formula and ecosystem merging, speaking, sales, meaning sales equals I have my own James Bond island. Boom. So Adam Frando, we'll keep it tight for today. It's Christmas week. We have much to share, much to talk about as each day progresses. We are running What is Unblinded, Why Real Raw tonight, gentlemen, or yes or no?
Yes, we are.
Yes. And just
awesome.
on that note, my final, back to what you just described as the process mastery around filling that island. I would love the opportunity for Fernando and or myself, with him alongside, to just simply ask the questions around process mastery, around how that island got filled. And through the formula, like you said, Sean, the diagnosing and the identifying of every single lack of optimal mastery in that area could be defined, and then applying the formula for sure could have that island filled for the next time. I'm just chomping at the bit to give Fernando an opportunity at who set that all up, and find out, why it resulted the way it did.
Well, I will tell you this. Brittany will be ready to do that live in front of the world shortly on What is Unblinded and Why Real Raw. And we can have that session publicly, privately. And she is on a mission and is not confused about the power of the formula Unblinded And I'm saying this with humility, but factually. And this is why the rising of your mastery and the ability to speak is mind-numbing. What she experienced on Saturday night as we opened up that island with our session, and doesn't happen without Anil Gupta. Anil is incredible and unbelievable and loved and respected beyond words there by everybody, and Brittany and their dear friends. And it was mind-blowing what everybody experienced and where this is headed. And nobody is confused. But as Adam said, whether it's a private island or your Aurora Open or an event you're holding or scaling your bet, it's all the same thing. Just it's the levers. It's the same thing. And it's the rising of your mastery and influence that is the game changer. And when you have mastery and awareness and presence of the formula, you could step into the group, the room, the space with the most incredible and incredibly accomplished people. People who are on their way, people who have accomplished some, people who are just really seeking to accomplish. In any of those situations, you can create integrous hierarchical primacy with your skill set to teach people, right, how to go from hello to yes and create massive acceleration through the formula. That skill set that is present and available for you here, we've chosen, purchased, bought into, understanding that that is what people truly want. And when they see you have the ability to teach it to them, and you have the ability to create scatomas and open listening and teach it to others on stage and microphone, improve their public speaking, how they present, what their vision, their mission is, all of those things, you possess the most invaluable of assets. You possess something more than if you had $1 billion, and the leverage that it can create in every conversation, every situation. So, Adam Fernando, Adam, final.
Well, that was my final. Yeah, so let's see it live tonight. See it live.
Let's go.
Fernando.
Talk to you guys in a little bit. Oh, yeah, Fernando, what do you got? Final.
That is all. I will see you tonight. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Adam. Love you all. And thank you for being on the Huddle. See you tomorrow. Bye.
See you tomorrow. Bye.